together. And when we gather here, we usually will bring facilitators who are well-grounded, who will handle topics that usually will be beneficial to us as Lions and even to non-Lions that we might have as our guests. So the topic that we're treating today is centered around our code of ethics. And code of ethics really is a set of guidelines that usually would help us, guide us in exhibiting the right behaviors, the right attitudes in our dealings, both in the association and outside the association. Unfortunately, a lot of us as Lions still do not really imbibe this code of ethics. But really, if we are able to live our code of ethics, we would actually be living right. So we feel the need for us to have a well-grounded Lion discuss this so we all learn and then begin to do the right things the right way. So to kick off today's session, may I please invite my district governor, Lion Mary Onu, PMJF NLCF, to please give an opening remarks before I bring in the facilitator for today. My DJ, ma'am.
Good evening, my GLT, my facilitator, and my fellow great Lions. It's always a delight to be here. There's no learning lounge which has gone on that I have not taken home something. And today is even more special because I know Lion Obo is well grounded in this area, and I'm looking forward to learning, as most of us are. Thank you, my GLT, for making these sessions very engaging. Thank you very much, and welcome to everyone.
Thank you very much, my DG. Today, to take us in this session is Lion Obo Efanga, PMJF, MJF rather. Lion Obo Efanga's Lions Club journey began in February 1988 when he was inducted into the Leo Club of Calabar. He rose to the position of Leo District President in 1996-1997 and became a Lion in 1998 as Charter Secretary of the Lagos Achievers Lions Club. He later served as club president in year 2003-2004. Lion Obo is a Melvin Jones Fellow. He is a lawyer and journalist. He loves reading, writing, traveling, and philately. He is on his second and final 5-year term as a resident electoral commissioner with the Independent National Electoral Commission. His current posting is in Akwa Ibom State, having previously served and conducted elections in Edo, Rivers, and Bayelsa states. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome our facilitator for today, Lion Obo Efanga. Lion Obo, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My district governor, Lions in the house, and guests, if there is any. I was given this topic and I tried to work around it, and this is what I ended up with. The Lions Code of Ethics as Guide to Purposeful Living, Service, and Ethical Leadership. So I'll just go straight to discussing this. The starting point for me is to look at some form of some sort of definitions. So when we talk about purposeful living, we're talking about purposeful living requires that we be intentional in living our lives, focusing on what is important to us and what we set out to achieve. That would then mean that we would first have to sit back and decide what our goals in life is. I mean, if you don't have a goal, then you can't be talking about purposeful living, because you can't say you're working towards achieving your goals if you haven't set what the goals are. Some goals are general in nature that we set for ourselves, and there should be goals we set based on the responsibilities that's apart from the goals we set for ourselves. There are also goals that you have to set or is set for you based on the responsibilities you take up or that are brought upon us as a result of our positions or ranks. So if somebody is merely a member of the Lions Club, the goals for that person would be different from those of the officers of the Lions Club. Just like in life, we hold different positions in life. As an individual, you may have one set of goals, but as a person who has some responsibilities, maybe as chief executive of an office or as secretary of an association or an organization, there are goals that would also, you would have to work towards in delivering on your responsibilities. Now, talking about service, service refers to the action of helping or working for others. This we know is at the center of our organization as Lions. Work as Lions is centered on service to others. I recently came across the motto of a particular secondary school that said, "It is for God and for others." I found that quite interesting, that a school could set up as its goal for the students and those who pass through it, that their life is about serving God and serving others. It did not talk about serving self. And it was quite enlightening for me. And it reminded me that even in Lions Club, when we talk about that as we serve others, we also serve ourselves, which means that there's a reward that we get in focusing on serving others, that somehow we also become better human beings because of that. So service is about the actions we take in helping others. Now, talking about ethics. Ethics is a system of principles that helps us to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. It is more about moral principles and is often influenced by our family upbringing, environment, communities, education, religion, amongst other things. And they help influence how far we can go in our professional lives. So if you take someone in different environments, a lot of what amounts to ethics is influenced by the environment they find themselves in. Things that in some societies are acceptable may not be acceptable in some other societies. And so the issue of ethics could be influenced by so many things, and also the upbringing people get. Now, talking about personal, apart from the general ethics that one finds oneself having to abide by, there are also ethics could be personal and could be professional. As an individual, you can set out what you consider as things you can do and things you cannot do. So that you set up for yourself things you can do and things you cannot do. And when you set up those standards for yourself, you will be so conscious of it that there is no way you can be pushed by peer pressure, by influence of the people you come in contact with to succumb to that. So somebody can say, I cannot lie against anyone else, no matter what, even if it means that I'm going to face negative consequences, that my life is in danger, or that my livelihood is in danger. It will not make me to tell a lie against someone else. I cannot make fake promises. I cannot make promises I know I am not going to meet. So you have some people, for instance, who may come to go to friends and say, could you assist me with this? And I promise to pay back at a given time. I tell you, there are people that even at the time they are making that request, they already know that they don't have the capacity or the intention to pay back. But somebody who has set personal ethics for himself will say that, no, I'm not going to make such a promise. I'm not going to ask somebody to give me something and I promise to give back when I know I don't have the capacity to give back. Okay? Some other person can say he cannot take an unfair advantage over another, even in competition. Or I cannot willfully harm another, even my competitor. Whenever I talk about this thing, there's an incident I like referring to. And there's an incident I like referring to. And recently, something interesting even happened. There's an incident I referred to that happened sometime in the early 1990s. There was this quiz competition on radio. Incidentally, it was a radio service here in Akwa Ibom State that had that competition for secondary schools. It was a quiz competition for secondary schools. You know how questions are asked a competing team. When they miss it, it is passed to the next team as a bonus. So on that particular occasion, the quiz master asked the question to the main team and they missed it. The quiz master ought to have passed that same question to the opposite team to try and score a bonus point. But he forgot and went ahead and gave the answer, denying the other team the opportunity of making an attempt to score a bonus point. And then his attention was drawn to the fact that he had denied that other team an opportunity of answering that question. I mean, he was in a difficult situation. How do you remedy that kind of situation? The answer has been given, you've provided the answer already. But something happened. A member of the other team that was denied said, no, it's okay. I didn't even know the answer. In that situation, he saved the day. He did not take undue advantage of the circumstance. And I remember in 2018 or 2017 or thereabouts, something happened and that I remember that incident. And I wrote about it on Facebook and said that, okay, that incident that day, during the second half of that competition, the quiz master went back to that incident and said that he was really impressed by the forthrightness of that competitor who said it didn't matter because he didn't have the answer to the question anyway. But he now said that he had found out during the break that the young man who was that honest to say it did not matter because he did not know the answer is the son of the Anglican Archbishop of Uyo Diocese at that time. And he mentioned the boy's name, Nglas, Nglass. That name never missed my memory until I wrote about this in 2018 or thereabout on Facebook. And people started commenting and they said, oh, they think they know that guy. So they mentioned his full name. And I started searching for the guy on Facebook. I saw him, I sent him a message. Please, could the participants please mute themselves? I started searching for the guy on Facebook. I sent him a message, he didn't respond. But something happened this month. I joined the Uyo Book Club on the WhatsApp page, and I found that guy is a member of the Uyo Book Club. 2 days ago, I put a call to him and we spoke at length. And I told him I was so impressed by his honesty then. And he had a very good laugh. And even told me that, reminded me that that competition, his school won the zonal competition and they were going to the final when this was in 1993, when the Abacha government took over government. And that competition was actually sponsored by the wife of the then governor of Akwa Ibom State. And so when the Abacha government came, they sacked everybody, and that is how the competition ended abruptly. And so he didn't have anything to show at the end of it for the competition. But I told him that, I mean, he had shown himself for integrity, and a lot of people were talking about it. And this is something I've used in discussions I've had on issues of integrity over time, and his name keeps coming up. Now, I've talked about personal integrity and personal ethics. There's also the professional ethics that we should look at. This is applicable to you in the context of your official duty or professional roles. Ethics that guide a person in his or her interactions and business dealings in their professional life. So for instance, amongst lawyers, they are not expected to advertise their services or chase against people who have been wronged just because they want to represent the people. And I'm sure that in other professions there are various ethics about it. Sometimes it has to do with relationship. You cannot have a certain kind of relationship with your clients and all that. Those are also ethical issues. So at a professional level, and everyone has to abide by those. Now, talking about ethical leadership. Ethical leadership would therefore refer to a leadership.
My immune system.
Kindly mute, please.
So ethical leadership would therefore refer to a leadership based on strong moral principles and values, such as fairness, integrity, and respect. I'll talk a bit about this and still come back to it later. Now, when you are in a position of leadership, you are placed to manage the affairs of quite a lot of people from diverse backgrounds. And so there are certain things expected of you if you are going to show leadership, ethical leadership. One of them is to show fairness. There'll be people of diverse backgrounds that you're leading. So you're going to be fair to everyone, no matter their personal relationship with you, whether the person is of your same ethnic background or religious background or professional background. If we are talking about the Lions Club, for instance, I imagine that we'll expect that people who lead the association at every level will be fair to everyone there and give everyone a fair chance when opportunities come. And then as we go higher up the ladder, we'll expect that people are given opportunity because they are capable of delivering on what is required of them, not necessarily because of relationship or closeness to the leaders in the association. Now, there's also the issue of integrity. Integrity means that you stand for what is right at all times. It doesn't matter whether there is a focus on you or people are looking at you, but at all times, people should be able to say, okay, if this happens this way, I trust this person to act, in the right manner. It's unlikely to be influenced by anything. And we should also, as ethical leadership would also entail the fact that we carry ourselves with respect. There are certain things we wouldn't expect to see from leaders. The way they talk, the way they carry themselves, the way to speak to subordinates, the way to speak to fellow leaders, and the way they also speak to members of the public who may be coming to them to access services. Now, all of this is encapsulated in the Lions Club's, much of this is encapsulated in the Lions Club Code of Ethics. And I'm sure we know, some of us know the Lions Code of Ethics by heart, but I'll just quickly go through what the Code of Ethics says. First one, it says to show my faith in the worthiness of my vocation by industrious application to the end that I may merit a reputation for quality of service. It talks about to seek success and to demand all fair remuneration or profit as my just due, but to accept no profit or success at the price of my own self-respect, lost because of unfair advantage taken or because of questionable acts on my part. To remember that in building up my business, it is not necessary to tear down another's. To be loyal to my clients or customers and true to myself. Whenever a doubt arises as to the right or ethics of my position or action towards others, to resolve such doubts against myself. To hold friendship as an end and not a means. To hold that true friendship exists not on account of the service performed by one to another, but that true friendship demands nothing, but accepts service in the spirit in which it is given. Always to bear in mind my obligations as a citizen to my nation, my state, and my community, and to give them my unswerving loyalty in word, act, and deed, to give them freely of my time, labor, and means. To aid others by giving my sympathy to those in distress, or my aid to the weak, and my substance to the needy, to be careful with my criticisms and liberal with my praise, to build up and not destroy. I will talk more in details about each of these and the implication. The practical application of the Code of Ethics to our everyday lives could help us as lions and even non-lions to attain purposeful living, to be effective in providing service and in displaying ethical leadership. So let's consider some of these provisions of the Code of Ethics. So for the first one that I read there, which says, to show my faith in the worthiness of my vocation by industrious application to the end that I may merit a reputation for quality of service. Now, my understanding of this is that every Lions Club member must have a vocation, a profession, an occupation, or an identifiable, honest source of livelihood upon which he or she is expected to show a high level of diligence and industry to earn a reputation for quality of service. No matter what field of endeavor a lion is into, he or she is not required to be an average or below average person or practitioner. So as lions, we must endeavor to bring out the best in us in any responsibility or any profession we find ourselves. A lion shouldn't be a drifter, but among the respected and respectable members of his or her profession. Respectability here does not necessarily mean popularity, but rather one who is known to uphold the highest standards and ethics of the given profession and is able to deliver on the task assigned to them. For some of us who manage offices or even groups, I'm sure if a task is to be done, you can tell which of your staff or members you can give that task and you can go to sleep that this person is going to deliver on it. Those are the kind of qualities we expect of good lions, that they are good at what they do and they do it with a high level of integrity. The next one is to seek success and to demand all fair remuneration or profit as my just due, but to accept no profit or success at the price of my own self-respect, lost because of unfair advantage taken or questionable acts on my part. Now, this is a call to us to put in our best and honest efforts to succeed in our calling and earn an income or profit. The term fair remuneration or profit recognizes the fact that some remunerations and profits are unfair because they may be exorbitant, they may be excessive, and therefore condemnable. And so if we abide by the Lions Code of Ethics, in the work we do, in the services we render, we should charge a fair remuneration or profit, not something excessive. There is no exception here. It doesn't matter whether you're dealing with private individuals or you're dealing with businesses or with the public corporations and governments. We must also be conscious of our self-respect and dignity and always endeavor to uphold and keep them, as well as avoid doing anything questionable. And anything questionable here, of course, will refer to those things that we would be embarrassed or ashamed of if this is eventually found out. Now, the next point talks about to remember that in building up my business, it is not necessary to tear down others, to be loyal to my clients or customers and true to myself. There is this saying that a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In the world of business, there are often enough spaces, clientele base, and customers to woo. We can do so without necessarily tearing down competitors. There are people who feel that the way to boost their own importance is to try to talk down on other people or pull down other people's efforts. This is unacceptable for Lions based on what our Code of Ethics says. This clause is the basis for fair competition. There are so many negative and destructive competitions in business, and I'm sure many of us have a few examples to share. Sometimes you deal with a large firm, and a member of staff of that large firm is sent to provide service for you. And over time, the person is trying to woo you, the customer, to patronize his or her own private business against that of the business that is working for. And sometimes this could happen because they are planning to disengage. They are planning to disengage from that big business and start theirs. I'm sure some of us have also experienced where maybe you take this Bolt or Uber, and the driver suggests to you that the trip should be put offline, and then ask you to pay less the amount or something, and such that he makes the money and the company does not benefit from it. This is very unethical, and we shouldn't indulge in such, and we shouldn't also encourage that as Lions, because these are quite unethical and should not be encouraged. The next point is part of the Code of Ethics says, whenever a doubt arises as to the right or ethics of my position or action towards others, to resolve such doubts against myself. I'm sure this is something that we sometimes find it very difficult to apply. How many times have we insisted that we are always right and can never be wrong? This provision of our Code of Ethics helps us put us in check to, as it were, go higher with our adherence to ethics It's such a tall task, but it's something we have to do. So whenever you find yourself considering that, did you really do this rightly or wrongly? Whenever our conscience, that little voice tells us that there is a doubt as to how we conducted ourselves, then we should resolve such doubt against ourselves and try to shift from our position as we relate to others. The next point is to hold friendship as an end and not a means.
Wait, how we wish.
Hello, are we together?
Yes, please. I muted her.
Okay. To hold friendship as an end and not a means. To hold that true friendship exists not on account of the service performed by one to another, but that true friendship demands nothing but accepts service in the spirit in which it is given. Now, who is a friend anyway? A friend is a person who is not related to you, but with whom you have a bond of mutual affection. The feeling is born out of likeness or fondness. Friendship, therefore, according to our code of ethics, should be as a result of shared feelings, views, and experiences or ideas. So you meet somebody that over time you share the same views on issues, you tend to do things the same way, you like each other. At the end of it, that's when friendship now resolves. So the friendship there is an end and not a means. But for some people, they actually befriend people because of what they intend to get from the person. So they look at somebody, they think it's more comfortable than them or in a position of authority. They now try to befriend the person only for the purpose of what can we get out of this friendship. And as such friendship, so to speak, will not last once that other person can no longer afford to give you the things that attracted you to the person in the first place. So it is an end arising from what you have observed from the other. It should not be a means to achieving your personal needs and expectations of service to be rendered to you by the other. If the reason for being a friend to someone is because you expect to get patronage from that person, or that you expect the person to cover you up when you do something wrong, then that is not true friendship, as it has become a means to a selfish end. It is exploitative in nature and beneath the standards as Lions Club members. The next provision of the Code of Ethics says, always to bear in mind my obligation as a citizen to my country, my state, and my community, and to give to them my unswerving loyalty in word, act, and deed, to give to them freely of my time, labor, and means. As Lions, we all come from different communities. We belong to different states and nations. Each one of us is called upon to recognize the obligation we owe those units and to show loyalty to them and to freely give back to them in quality service through our time, our services, and resources. How can you do this? There are various ways. It's just for you to look at where you think there is a need, as we say as Lions, and you try to feel that. It could be that you know your community where you come from, that there are still a lot of people there who do not have access to certain things of life that are of quality, maybe quality education, and you may decide that, okay, I am able to pay the school fees of a few of these children. If they select children who are in need, I should be able to pay the fees of this. And this is the kind of thing we expect Lions to do, either individually or as a corporate. So I said, apparently, unlike what many people believe that the society, the state, or the nation owes them, let us think of what we owe the society, the state, and the nation. If we all think and do so, we would realize that these structures would work for us all. The other provision of the Code of Ethics is to aid others by giving my sympathy to those in distress, my aid to the weak, and my substance to the needy. This seems to be the aspect of a code of ethics that we can all really relate with. But we sometimes need to ask ourselves if we really feel that sympathy, give the aid and share our substance willingly, freely, and even when nobody is able to see or appreciate us. If we weren't part of the Lions Club and are part of the corporate activities that the Lions Club do, are we able to, in our individual corners, see people in need and assist them in such a way that nobody will know of it, nobody will celebrate you, nobody will put it out in the social media that you are doing this? Or do we do this merely because we want people to know that we are doing this, and that is why we will do some bit of support to people, and we want to blow it out of proportion or put it out there in the media? The other provision says to be careful with my criticism and liberal with my praise, to build up and not destroy. We belong to a society that is difficult to live in. In fact, there are quite a lot of reasons to be critical of the society, to be angry with our society, with our country, and where we find ourselves, to even be bitter and totally disagreeable. But after then, what? This is why the Lions Code of Ethics calls on us to be careful with our criticism. Carefulness with our criticism, I believe, would mean...
Feed the Google. Make sure I did that.
Okay. Carefulness with our criticism would mean trying to be reasonable, to first understand the issues and the drawbacks before criticizing and offering solutions and alternatives. This is a good point to mention this. I know we as Nigerians, for those of us who are Nigerians, one of the passions for us is sports, football. Over the weekend, we dropped out of the World Cup qualification. And on Monday, everywhere was agog with people insulting everybody involved with they insulted the players, they insulted the coach, they insulted the football federation, everybody and anybody. And I sat back and I said, interestingly, a lot of these people who are criticizing everybody, if you check the schedule that is given to them in their respective offices, many of them are not doing it. But when it comes to criticizing others, we criticize totally and condemn like those people are so useless that, so when we criticize, we should be careful how we do that. We should offer solutions. How could it have been done better? Do we quite understand what some of those people pass through? The people who are in public offices taking decisions on our behalf or representing us in sporting competitions. This is what our Code of Ethics requires us to be careful with our criticisms and also liberal in our praises. There are some people who will praise people to the high heavens, even when they know that those people don't deserve those praises. And when we do this, we are not helping people to be the best that they ought to be. Let us criticize with a view to making it work better, not with a view to bringing everything to ruins and demoralizing those trying to render service or correct a bad situation. On the other side of the table is giving praise liberally, especially when it is deserved, and this helps spur people to do better. Finally, the Code of Ethics calls us all to build up and not destroy. We all know that building up is much tougher than destroying. It takes years and years of consistencies and commitments to build a skyscraper, a nation, a reputation, or a system. But just one mistake or deliberate action of destruction by self or adversaries can bring down all that. As lions, we are admonished to build up and not destroy. Let's think about this when we generate and share information, especially on social media, about others, about institutions, about systems, about our collective interest. Let us endeavor to build a better society and not to destroy it. Fellow Lions, I've spoken so much at this point. I think that I can stop at this point. Maybe there could be discussions during the session, and then we can take I can take commentaries and response to questions that may come up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lion Noble. Very, very insightful session. So many points pushed out there for us to think about, for us to meditate on, and ask ourselves some questions. Are we doing the right things? Are we in this? How do we get out of it? Fellow Lions, we would at this point want to take your comments or questions if you have any. Let's make use of the chat room. It would help so that we would read out all the questions, all the comments. You can also show by a raise of hand. So we would allow you speak if you have to speak. Okay, I'm seeing some comments. Many thanks, very profound. That's from Lion Joyce. A lot for us to reflect on. Correct, I agree with you, Lion Joyce. Thanks for words of wisdom. That's from Akintoye Ayehu. My DG Laja says, thanks so much, sir, for this very nice and apt presentation. Thanks, my great lion. That's from Yeye Yetunde Odebode. It's a wonderful presentation. Thanks, bro. Lion Dr. Yeleye has rated this A1. Fantastic. Thanks for the presentation. Thank you very much for this very educative and insightful presentation. That's from Lion Eno Antigua. Very interesting session. We have a lot to do, Lions. Thank you. That's from Lion Afebwa. This is wholesome. I agree. Thank you. Okay, and I have two hands up. Okay, Lion Osarenkwe, your hand is up. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. This is, in fact, I was almost crying listening to you. Thank you very much. It's a reminder, a very good reminder, a brilliant presentation. Thank you. I just want to ask this question because I know my great DJ knew that we needed to be reminded. Ethics. Lion Code of Ethics is key, is the first thing we read. We read it every day when we meet. Yet when election comes on, they throw away the ethics. Is there anything, is there something Lion as Lion can do to ensure that Lion ethics is practiced during election, is implemented during election, and anyone who breaches it, both in campaign, is reminded or sanctioned? I just want to know.
Okay, thank you, Lionel. Would you want to take this, or you want us to take more questions? I think maybe Tell me what you need. Do you want to be taking the questions as they come, or you want us to wait out?
Okay, so maybe we can take a few questions and then I respond. But I've taken note of what she said.
Okay. Lion Ivy, your hand is up. You have the floor.
Okay, good evening. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And thank you so much, Lion Obo, for the training. I think it's really a reminder, and also it really connects to our daily lives, and the way in which you explained this was really apt. My question has to do with the there's you mentioned that we shouldn't or rather it's not ethical to go on social media when you do something right, when when you do good. And one of the things that I would like to share, because sometimes we need to know where to draw the line. So in my case, right, even before I became a lion, I have been one who does activities in the community. One of them is a partner with a soup kitchen to ensure that people to help to get people to be fed on Saturdays, right? And this happens in Lagos Island. So I've been doing that for years. And so what we try to solicit for funds from the public, right? And so at some point, we actually have to go on social media to share our work, right? What we do to now get people to support us. And so when you mention that showing, going on the media to say what you do isn't really ethical. If you're doing a good work, I think it's really nice to draw a line, so that we know, okay, what in this area, there's no gray area. How is it seen? Because how is it seen? Because I'm trying to actually partner with the soup kitchen to grow it, and so that's why I have to share, and everything. So I don't know. I need to be sure that I wasn't doing the wrong thing, even as a lion, because we need to actually solicit for funds. Yes.
Okay. So can I take these questions first so I don't lose track of them?
Go ahead. Please.
Okay. So let me start with the last question. No, I wasn't really saying that it's unethical to share some of the things we do in the media, on the social media. I was just asking a question that I want to be sure that for some of us doing these things, we are doing it right from inside of us. We feel like doing it. So my question was, if what you did was not publicized, would you still do it? Okay. So if I may be a bit personal, let me mention this, that in the last few years, I talked about scholarships. In the last few years, there are some children in my community that I pay their school fees for. The interesting thing is that I've never met these children. So I asked my brother and people back there to help me identify some children in secondary schools that I could pay their fees. And when I started, there were about 11 of them, and then some of them, they finished the education. But last week, I was home because some of you may be aware, I lost my elder brother. So I went for the funeral. And I found out that a lot of people were walking up to me and saying, "Oh, thank you. But my child was one of the beneficiaries of the scholarship you gave." And I was meeting these people for the first time. There's actually one guy that came up to me and reminded me that we were classmates in primary school. When he mentioned his name, I could remember, but I couldn't really recollect his face. And he also told me that I think his daughter was one of those beneficiaries. So the point I'm making is there are some things you can do without necessarily putting it out there. But for Lions as a corporate, it is important to let people know what we are doing so that we get more support to do more of such. And other people can also replicate what we're doing. And remember, we also solicit funds from the members of the public. It is important for them to know that this club that always comes around at a particular time to fundraise, this is what they are doing. So yes, we need to strike a balance, but let it not be that it's because it's going to be announced. So even within Lions Club, let me even raise this. Sometimes when we do fundraising for causes, maybe we need to assist someone. It looks as if some people are was propelled to making those donations because we will put the donations on the chats, on the WhatsApp group. This person has donated X amount of money. This person has. Is it possible for somebody to donate and say anonymous without being recognized as, the person who gave? You understand? So that's the point I was trying to make. Now, somebody talked about the code of ethics, how we practice this or fail to practice when it comes to the elections, the Lions election. Honestly, it is quite an issue and quite embarrassing for some of us who have had cause to be involved in maybe conducting elections or something. The kind of things we see, how people try to manipulate the system, and when people put their foot down, they are seen as difficult, as unbending and all that. So we receive those things, and for some of us, by our nature, that's what we will do. So we are used to people saying, this guy is too difficult to deal with. But when it comes to issues of ethics, yes, some of us will be difficult to deal with. And that is what will help sustain the standards that we expect of Lions clubs. We need more and more people to do that. We cannot be complaining about what happens in the larger society when it comes to election, vote buying and all that. And then we as Lions, we are buying votes and we are selling votes, even within a small group as ours. We need to talk to ourselves and say we are not going to do this. And this is not only for the contestants, but also for the members. Sometimes clubs will not pay their dues and wait until it's election time, hoping that some contestants will support them in paying their dues. This is quite unethical and very embarrassing that it could happen within the Lions Club. There was something else I also wanted to mention here. Remember, I talked about how we relate with, how leaders should relate with their subordinates, their peers, and all that. Try and relate with your subordinates in such a way that they enjoy the working relationship with you. One of the things I have found out in public service is that many times when a superior officer calls a subordinate or needs the attention of a subordinate, it's usually because the person has done something wrong. And that is what I found out when I came to public service. One of the things I do is that I have the list of the staff that work in my state and their birthdays. So every day I check my list and call people up and wish them a happy birthday. You will be shocked at how this helps motivate people. You call somebody who is in the field, has never met you, and you tell the person happy birthday, and the person is asking who, and you say, this is the resident electoral commissioner. And you just hear how some people scream. And somebody says, my God, that they have never spoken with the resident electoral commissioner at all because of the position they hold, very lowly. And if they ever were told that the boss was looking for them, then they will wonder what they've done wrong. So let's not only call people when they've done wrong, let's call people to find out how they are doing and also to encourage them. And the kind of feedback I get, sometimes I'm in the office. Last week, one elderly woman in the local government came to see me and said that I called her on her birthday and she brought some farm products for me. She brought vegetables from her farm to give to me that she has never had spoken with a resident electoral commissioner, not to talk of coming to the office and meeting the person. So there are a lot of things we can do let's just try to be nice people with the people we relate to, because you can't really tell who you're relating with. And now this is another thing I also find. When I call people on phone, maybe to wish them a happy birthday, some of the staff, because they don't know who is calling, they sound very aggressive on the phone. So by the time I now say, okay, I'm calling to wish you a happy birthday, and this is who I am, they suddenly change. Their voice change, their voice is changed, you understand? Your voice shouldn't change because the person you are relating with is superior, but just be nice at all times. So that's what I try to tell my colleagues in the office. I think I've taken some of all the comments so far. If there are more questions, you can take if we have time.
Yes, please. I can see another hand, Ibiba or Dili. Please, you have the floor. Go ahead and speak.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Lions. And the presentation was wholesome. That is the way I can describe it, because it affects every aspect of our life. So let me go straight to my point. Our great
This woman
speakers
talking. Is this here? Ibibia or Dili?
Our great speaker talked about Lions having a profession, a source of livelihood, an industry, and not just that, but doing it so well that, they will show that they are Lions. Because it is only when we have a good source of livelihood, a profession, a career, that we can provide quality service. So my question or my concern is this: that is on one side. Then we talk of membership growth. And what I see, or most of us see, is that because we are quick to add members, we just want the numbers to rise. Some of these things at the point of recruitment is not looked into, because we just want the members. Then when they come in, we now start struggling with payment of annual dues and other financial implications. So my great Lion speaker, what can we do? What can we put into our structure to ensure that at recruitment, because some clubs don't even have a membership form to even collect information about the intending members they want to recruit into the club. So how can we institutionalize some of this structure to ensure that we get adequate information about intending Lions to be able to ascertain those who have some of these qualities you have reeled out in your presentation? Thank you very much.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. We have two other hands up. Would you want us to take the questions so you answer together?
Yes, please.
Okay. Lion Olare, please speak.
Well, wonderful evening to our organizers and the facilitator. Let me say he has done justice. I know he can fail us because he's good in it. Well, my question is not far-fetched, and I needed a solution from our facilitator. Somebody spoke about issues of elections, what have been happening. My take is on the issue of being able to appoint somebody in an office and not being able to perform. We have this, our ethics and other code of, code of conduct and what have you. For decades, they have been there. This kind of lectures have been coming on year in, year out in officers training, and things have not changed, sir. Mr. Facilitator, I know as far people went to influence being appointed as district officer, club officers. And we can't move forward when we don't work as a team like you have said. And there are responsibility to be done. And when they get there, they find it difficult to discharge or even cooperate with their subordinates. When you need them, they are not there. They are not even ready to cooperate with you. And they are holding sensitive positions. Where do we go from here? There is what we call employment error in HR. Some of you are HR here. What will we call this? Is it that they want to add it to their CV? I know I've done this and passed this and that. I mean this and that. And how do they relate in their office? Can they perform this way and they will not be sanctioned? Either their salary is being withheld or they are given on work without pay. Day in, day out, in this century, we have to have gone beyond this. What are the solutions? What can we do? Because it's still happening. When people inflate, I want to be this, I want to, and then they get there, they just add it to that and they do nothing. When you need them, they don't even understand their portfolios. It's so sad. It kills the morals of those who are ready to do. And when you see people doing, they say, oh, they are club rats. They have no job. Just kill it. So I want a solution, sir, from you. You are worldwide, both in the public and in Lionism. For my decade of years, almost 4 decades, it's still happening. Solution, sir. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Lion Bolari. We have Lion Debowale Machado's hand up. Lion Machado, please speak.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. Thank you, sir, for this very insightful section. So for me, it's a question also. Most times, how people relate with others shows a reflection of themselves in a way. How do people get to change themselves? Because at times, if they don't try to look into themselves and do some reflection, they might not be able to change how they interact and have this conversation with other people, just like you've mentioned. So, in this case, what are the tools or things that can be done for people to look into themselves and try to change themselves, just to kind of also change the narrative of how they interact with others?
Okay.
Okay, Lion Obu, maybe you take those ones. We still have some on the comment section.
Oh, okay. All right. So the first question was about quality membership. Truly, if we said, for instance, that this issue is always coming up. I'm always on this side that seems to be like I'm against the position of the leadership. There's so much noise. Could people please mute? So I found out that by the time people get to the level of district governor and beyond, they are always looking at, no, we shouldn't reduce the membership. We shouldn't reduce the membership. Let's bring in more members. Let's bring in more members. And in the process, we don't do a fine-tuning in the selection of the members, people into the club. And so we have issue of quality membership. And even when you also have people who are not very fit to be members, what is the kind of orientation we also have when people come into the club? Do we have proper orientation for members, new members who come into the club? If we don't do that, then we'll keep having those kind of members. But it is important for those of us who are already inside. So for instance, I'm sure some of us have so many friends that we would have brought into the Lions Club. But because we relate with them, we know the kind of things that will make them stay or not stay. We don't invite too many of them in, or some of our colleagues. But when we focus so much on numbers, membership, I brought in 5 members this year, and then 3 years down the line, only one of those persons is still a member, then there's a problem. Let's look at how do we bring in quality members and retain them rather than wanting to expand beyond the capacity we have for managing them. It's an issue that there will always be back and forth about it, no doubt. The issue about appointees, I think Lion Bolare was talking in terms of Lions Club, appointees into positions that do not perform. For me, if I had my way, we would reduce the number of persons that are appointed each year into the Lions cabinet. Some of those offices, when you even hear it, looks as if it's difficult for the people to even identify what they are supposed to be doing. So is it possible for us to have a smaller number of people as officials of the Lions Club? And we know that if we are going to have just 20 cabinet officers, these are 20 very active persons who are going to work. Not that we have a long list of 100 and only about 30 are the ones doing the work. And the rest just have the title. The year ends, next year, they take up another position. So if they reel out all the offices they've held in the last, there are people who in the last maybe 5 or 10 years, they have always been on the cabinet. Can we also have a situation where people retire out of the cabinet for some years and wait outside, and then they may be reconsidered in future? The question about, I think the last question, if I understand it very well, there may be people who come in, they are not very good with human relationship. How can they improve with it? First of all, it's for the person to first identify or accept that he or she has that kind of problem. And then you can now, there are books, there are things one can read up about how to relate with others. And you can also have people who are likable and you get close to them and try to be like them or ask them to mentor you. I think we need to also look at this issue of mentorship within the Lions Club. There are some people with qualities we will want replicated. Can we see how we can get those people to be closer to other people and, talk to them? And people can also, I want to be a better person in this area. I try to find somebody who I think is good in that area, who I admire how he behaves in that area, and try to be like the person. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. There are so many comments in the chat room. I'll probably try to read out some, but please, everybody should look out for the link for the attendance and kindly complete the attendance. Thank you. May I also appreciate the presence of a lot of my PGDs that I can see on this call. I can see DG Adelaja Adele here. Thank you so much for joining. I can see VDG Dr. Lubusayo Modupe. Thank you too for joining. I can see VDG Doris Ken Tokiti. Thank you. I can see PCC Anoanya. I can see PAL Sam Ebu. Thank you so much, sirs, for joining. I'm also seeing PDG Ni Balogu. I'm seeing PDG Lekon Babalola. I'm seeing IPDG Tolu Shembanjo. Thank you so much. And I am also seeing so many other senior Lions here. Thank you so much for joining this session and sharing this time with us.
May I announce myself? May I announce myself? My name is Bridget Adetope Taikos.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I observed that I had Mama T before. I just changed it. Thank you. And thank you.
My ID, somebody should be twisted.
No. She explained why I didn't see her.
And you have not seen the constitutional area leader, LCI.
I'm also here. PCC Opera is here.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, sir. My apologies.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, you know that.
Lion Chinyelu, we are operating in dollars, so just hold yourself.
Mary don't come within dollars.
Thank you so much. We have so many comments in the chat room. I'm not sure if I can take all of them, but I'll just keep taking them as I scroll. There's many, many thanks, my lion leader. Quite informative, educational. Yes, we can be more humane if as lions we live by the Lion's Code of Ethics. Be blessed. Thank you. Brilliant reminder for who we are supposed to be. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this inspiring session. Okay, this one says, thank you for delivering a clear and impactful presentation. Your insights on leadership within Lions Club is a training ground. Nobody is perfect. We have to induct every individual that shows interest and put them to training. That is the main reason for this forum. Thank you. Bringing in quality members and retaining them is quite spot on. The honors of bringing a quality member rests squarely on the sponsor who invited the intending lion. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation. We truly appreciate your time and knowledge. I can also see PDG Pat Udeme. Thank you, Ma, for joining. Lion Obo, very good and inspiring presentation. Well done. I can see my PDG Modupe Dada. You're welcome, Ma. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been a brilliant time. Thank you for all the contributions. Thank you for honoring us and attending this session. I believe that we've all gained knowledge. It's not just enough to gain this knowledge. What do we do with the knowledge that we've gained here today? Are we going back to put into practice everything that we've been told? I'm sure if we're able to live out our Lions Code of Ethics, we would actually be better people. I will make the society better and our communities better. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I would please like to invite Lion Sylvia Effa, if she's still here, to give a vote of thanks.
Lion Sylvia.
Yes.
She can pass it to me at home now.
No, I want her to do it here. She's got to do it here. While that is going on, may I please respectfully request that we turn on our cameras so that we'll take a few pictures, please. Just a few pictures. Thank you so much. I'm seeing so many cameras on already, but I'm seeing so many not on. Kindly oblige us. Thank you, Lion Chim, I can see you. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you for turning on your cameras. Lion Franklin, let us know when you're done. Lion Jebe.
My dear, well done.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir. Lion Franklin.
Yes, ma'am. I'm still on. I'll let you know.
Okay, please let us know when you're done so Lion Sylvia can speak.
Is the picture obstructing Lion Sylvia speaking, my dear?
I'm struggling to get myself out of the car. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Go ahead, Lion Sylvia.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And thanks for the opportunity given to me to pass on this vote of thanks to the one lion that I know has done them, giving us such a wonderful session, on behalf of every one of us present, my district governor, international director, area leaders, past district governors, cabinet officers and lions present. I extend our heartfelt appreciation to you, Lion Oboifanga, for today's inspiring session. I can I speak for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone, that this session has been both enlightening and empowering. Your words today, the session, what you have told us today, are not just lessons, but I can say that they are reaffirmation of the values we as Lions pledge to uphold. So I want to believe that as we leave this learning lounge, we'll carry forward the truth, the courage, and the service that you have ignited in each and every one of us here. Thank you once again. Thank you, my district governor, for the opportunity once again. Thank you, my GLT. Thank you, great lions in the house. And thank you, Lion Obo, for the powerful facilitation and for reminding us that true leadership is service and true purpose is found in living ethically. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Lion Sylvia. And thank you, everyone. I feel so happy. Thank you for attending. Please, let's not just attend. Let's go back and practice what we've learned here today so that together we will make the world a better place, not just our community, but the world a better place. Please ensure that before you exit, you fill the attendance so that at least we would know that you were part of us. Thank you so very much. So we will leave this meeting on for maybe another 5 minutes so that the people who haven't filled attendance would be able to access it and fill it. I'm just dropping the attendance link again in case you missed it. So please go ahead and complete the